Social significance of holding out is starting to take hold in Ben Simmons' camp. The all-star point guard was fined about $360,000 for skipping Monday's preseason game, and his representation communicated to Philly that his early fines were higher than expected. Shannon, will Simmons play for the Sixers this year?
I don't believe he will, Skip. I believe he's pretty dug in. He had to understand, and these are all the talks that you have before you make a decision like this. Now, you do understand you're due a bonus of $8.25 million on this date. They're probably going to withhold that. If I sit here and explain this to you, Ben, they're gonna withhold this money. Now, you do realize that they're going to fine you for not playing in these preseason games. Do you understand that if that's something that you're willing to risk, are you willing to risk to get up out of there that says, I do no longer want to be a part of the Sixers organization. I no longer want to play with Joel Embiid. Are you willing to risk this? Do you understand what I'm explaining to you, Ben? There's a chance you can lose $15, $20, $30 million by not playing. Are you understanding what I'm saying to you, Skip? That's the way they lay it out.
Yep.
Any player that holds out, you have to understand. What you do is that you all your money, Skip. You know, when I was thinking about holding out, okay, got all this paid up, got all that paid up, paid the house off for a year, played. So I'm lining all my ducks up because if I got to hold out, this is what I need to have happen.
Yep.
I can assure you, Ben has made some good money, so he probably can withstand a year. What they're hoping is that somebody else gets upset and it's like, okay, Dame Lillard, come on, we'll trade you Ben Simmons for Dame Lillard, or Bradley Beal wants out. But I don't see that happening. I don't believe that these reports are true. I believe that they've laid out, Ben Simmons' representative have laid out the ramifications of him holding out. Ben, from what I've been told, Ben has made it abundantly clear. It's not about the money. I want out. 29 other teams other than Philly is where I want to be. Philly's trying to make it about the money. Oh, we're not going to pay you. Okay, fine. I'm not coming. So I believe Ben understands the ramifications of him holding out, understands that he stands a chance to lose a lot of money, but he seems to be devout in what he believes in, and he doesn't want to be there. So this is where we are right now. Both sides seem to be dug in, and it doesn't seem to be getting any traction moving one way or another.
Okay. I hear everything you just said, but my gut feeling remains at some point he will return to play for the Sixers this year.
Oh, I would have returned. I'd have showed up. I'd have been like James Harden. I'd have showed up. I might have been a little out of shape. No, I'm going to be professional at all times. I'm going to show up, but I want them to understand that I want to be traded. So I'm going to be professional, Skip. I would not have handled it like Ben is handling it.
Okay. I believe that Ben Simmons, and I do not know him, nor have I been around him, but he comes across as extremely prideful.
Yeah.
Almost to a fault. He is so proud of who he is and what he is as a basketball player, because he's a really good basketball player who has a free throw demon he has not been able to defeat. We've seen him make free throws before. I'm going to hark back to that February 13th game without Embiid at Utah versus Rudy Gobert. He made 12 of 13 free throws. You can't tell me he's incapable of making free throws, because he's very capable. He just got stuck in his head that I can't do it late in games. For whatever reason, we've seen it happen to repeated players in many sports where they just lose it, and it's going to require some psychiatry to get him through it. But he's so proud that we always talk during the finals about Giannis. He's not proud to a fault. He just doesn't care. He'll jack up a three and airball it, and then he'll come right down and he'll make a three. He'll airball 2 free throws and he'll come right back and make 5 in a row because he's like, this is who I am and I'm okay with it. He's made peace with who he is and who he is not. Ben has not made peace with this.
Right.
So the point is, I get you on dug in, because I don't know that anybody could get more dug in than Ben. The problem is he has 4 years left on his deal. And the problem is that you can't argue that last year was an overall disaster. They were the top seed in the East.
Right.
Obviously, I'm going to repeat the stats on him. It's why I believe in Ben Simmons as a basketball player. He was the Rookie of the Year. Then he made 3 straight All-Star teams, and he made 2 straight All-Defensive First teams. And he came close to making Defensive Player of the Year. And even in that brutal game that he had in Game 7 against the Atlanta Hawks, he held Trae Young to 5 of 23 because he just engulfs him. He's 6'10", he's long, he's strong, he's smart. When he applies himself on the defensive end, he's up there, man.
Yeah, he's a top 2 or 3 defender. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and he's a gifted passer of the basketball. Maybe they messed up the whole idea of we got to run the offense through him. Maybe he and Joel aren't the best strategic match where they get in each other's way occasionally. I get that. If they had a pure, true point guard who could take over the team, I think they would be a better team. I don't know if Tyrese Maxey can sort of evolve and grow into that role. That's a tough one.
Skip, you're going to need a top to take down Milwaukee, to take down the Nets. You're going to need a top-tier point guard. You're going to need a Dame Lillard. You're going to need a Bradley Beal. You're going to need someone of that ilk,
They
Skip.
rave about Tyrese. And I just haven't – I saw flashes at Kentucky, but I don't know if he's not Dame.
Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are not beating the Brooklyn Nets. Are not beating the
But if
Bucks.
you could figure a way to get Ben back in the mix, it might work. So
Skip, why would you want him back after what Joel has said, what Doc has said, what he said about no longer wanting to play with Joel Embiid? Why would you want him back?
Because he's just too good to trade. In the big picture, once the smoke clears in everybody's head, once everybody calms down and sits down and looks hard at the situation with clear minds, you just see you're not going to get back on the market because the market is now turned completely against you because he's demanding that he wants out.
Yes.
And so you're not going to get, you're going to get like 25 cents on the dollar back for it. And they don't want to do it. And it's not like he was terribly unhappy. His pride got hurt by his head coach and his co-star. The proverbial throw under the bus after a loss. Everybody was upset. I don't think Doc meant exactly what he meant to say. I think he was trying to dodge the question, but he said it indelicately at best.
Yeah, Skip, that's like hitting somebody in the head with the basketball. My bad, but you still hit me in the head.
I didn't mean to.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You still clunked me upside the head with the ball.
I got it. I just think that some time's going to pass, and according to the Philly Voice, that it was communicated to the Sixers that these early fines that are being imposed were perhaps higher than they expected. I assume Rich Paul or somebody in the camp is telling the Sixers, wait a second, we didn't think it was that bad. You didn't express you're going to be able to go that far with these fines? Yep, we're going that far. And you're actually going to, yep, we're doing it. Okay, so it's an impasse and it's ugly right now. It needs some mediation to bring him back into the fold. What did Daryl Morey say last week in the big press session they had? He said, I just watched a guy on what night was it that Aaron played? Was it Monday Night Football? Okay, so it was Tuesday. He had just watched Aaron Rodgers light it up on Monday night with the 37 seconds left against the 49ers, right? Was that Monday? I think it was. But whatever, it all blurs. But the point is, he said, hey, he's playing great for the Packers, and everybody said in the offseason there's no way he's going back to Green Bay.
But I tell you what if Matt LaFleur would have said, you know what, hey, do you believe, hey, Matt, do you think you can still at this stage, you can win a championship with Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback? You know, I don't want to answer that question at this point. And Devontae Adams, Devontae, where do you think the game turned? Well, I thought in a situation it was 3rd and 8, and we could have, possibly run for it, and we ended up throwing into double coverage. What do you think would have happened? Aaron is not coming back. So you just can't say it's relevant. They basically said everything. Everybody wanted Aaron back, but they said we respect his decision. The head coach says, I believe in him from the jump. You can't ask a guy you said he's prideful. And great players, the greater you are as a player, the more pride that you have. You know that you've been around them. And it's just not athletes. People want to think, well, athletes are just prideful. The more successful any person is, entertainer, actress, it does not matter, doctor, lawyer, the more pride, the more successful they are, the more pride that they have. Okay. And if you damage that.
I got it. This needs a mediation to get him back in. And the best mediator I know in professional basketball is Doc Rivers.
No, Doc messed it up. It was Doc messed it up.
I know he started it, but I think he can finish it. No. I think he can undo it.
Then he let me mediate. Hey, Ben, you want to be here? Nah, Shannon, I don't want to be there.
Okay.
Darren Moore, you heard what he said. Get this man up out of here. Let's go.
Okay, so they don't want to give him away because you just thrust them into a give him away situation.
Because Skip, you already know how there's very seldom a situation where you trade superstars for superstars. You end up getting a package or some draft picks. You're not getting, even though they Brandon Ingram and you got a Hart and you got some draft picks, that's Anthony Davis.
Lonzo.
Lonzo.
Yeah.
That's Anthony Davis. That's a generational player. So the likelihood, Portland's like, why would we trade you Dame for Ben? Why would you trade you Bradley Beal? We want to keep our guys. Your guy wants out. Our guy's not disgruntled.
Well, the problem is that Ben is right now damaged good psychologically. And so that scares everybody off, too.
Right.
Even though he's got the accolades to show. He's only 25.
Ben is going to have to, whatever happens,